When your why is big enough, you will find your how. This was said by one of my all-time favorite inspirational, motivational people in my life is Les Brown. And the reason I will spend a couple minutes talking about this is so many people say, well, how do you start a business? How do I change my career? How do I get noticed in my job so I get promoted? How do I do so many different things? People will ask me questions over not even just my career, my life. And the biggest resounding challenge is the fact is they don't have a why. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to accomplish this? Well, because other people have said that I'd be good at it. Okay, well, other people have said you'd be good at whatever the case may be, but do you believe that it's something that you want to do? You have to have a passion, you have to have a why before the how will appear. Because just because I know in my own life, I've had people say, well, you would be good at this or you should do that. And I decided to try it, but really my heart wasn't in it, right? My heart wasn't in the game. And, I could find out and figure out the mechanical part of doing that, but yet my passion wasn't there. My why wasn't strong enough. Why was I doing it? Why was I expending this kind of effort? Just because somebody else told me I'd be good at it, or a group of people said I'd be good at it, right? I know in my life, when I finally discovered the different passions that I have, passions to helping others, live a life that's more fulfilled and on purpose, the how of how I wanted to do it just came naturally. And that literally was 18 years ago. I was a computer consultant running a consultant firm. And, I worked hard, but I had no passion, right? And I had the how down pat. I knew exactly what I needed to do my job, but to continue to elevate and climb, I had lost that ability. I didn't know how to do that anymore. I didn't know how to continue to push myself to get, further along in that industry or that business of mine, because I didn't have a why anymore. Why was I doing it? Why was I continuing to do it when I wasn't happy? So why isn't just about why do you want to start something new? It can be something you're currently in and you can't figure out why are you, your passion is gone. Why aren't you leveling up? Why aren't you chasing what you had been doing for a year, 3 years, 5, 10 years? And some of that can be the fact that you've lost your why, the original why you were doing it, which is tied to your passion. You don't have a passion for it anymore. Or maybe that industry's changed in a way that you're not really appreciative of, and that's killed your drive, your passion, and your initial why of why you did it is now gone. So bottom line, when your why is big enough, right, you will find your how, right? So when I realized that my why wasn't there, my how and how I was going to continue to elevate and pivot my life, I went a complete about face and went into finance. And what did I do that? Well, they keyed on my why. They helped me figure out my why. Even though I was the one that initially had to come to that consensus, they helped spark that in me when they talked about the fact of living in quiet desperation, raising 5 kids. They keyed on the fact that I was good with people and I was great at educating and having conversations and being a connector. But I needed to do that in a field where I had a passion. And one of the passions they could see that I would be good at would be finance. But I needed to get my own house in order, my own financial house in order. And did I ever completely get it in order? Not really. It's a work in progress the rest of my life, just like the 6 inches between my ears for growing my mindset. Your financial house is something you work on the rest of your life. You should be. You should not be sitting back and just letting it happen. So they triggered the fact that, I had a why, in the sense that why would I want to do finance? Well, and, I didn't understand it. I was in debt, 6-figure income earner, yet I was still living with more months than money, probably half the year. And there was no reason for it. And, so I basically figured out that was my why. I got licensed and started into it. And then initially, the first 5, 6 weeks, it was a struggle. But then I put my boots to the ground, started, running toward what I wanted to learn in regards to finance. And approximately 14, 15 months later, I was a 6-figure income earner. Yet in the first year, I only made $8,000. Why was that? Because I was still figuring out the how of the why that I discovered. And that how sometimes can take a while, especially when there's so much information and different strategies and solutions. And I needed to figure out how I was going to deliver that, how I was going to present it to clients, how I was going to help them, because I knew I didn't want to be that person that had been similar to myself, right? Financial people sitting down with me that were just product sellers that didn't really educate me, didn't teach me and take me along a path of where I needed to go to get control of my life. They were just selling me a product. So I didn't want to be that person. So it took me, I don't know, about let's say 5, 6 months after getting licensed to really get a grasp of how I wanted to be, who I wanted to present myself, and being the most genuine version of myself, of who I had been even in the computer industry, and working with people and collaborating and connecting. I needed to pivot that into the finance industry along with all the knowledge I needed to learn to help families. And I had to help myself first. So once I did that, right, it wasn't long before I was back to my level of income. And I've enjoyed and still have a passion to help people live life on purpose and not by accident, right? My whole mantra is, helping people live better today, retire in comfort, and die with dignity. But I needed to, in order to get to that point, I had to know what my why was. And my biggest centered why was me. I was struggling, I was suffering, single income, all of a sudden raising all these kids on my own, right? With one income, unable to get by. I'd already been struggling just when I had joint custody of my kids, but it got so much worse after the fact because now all of a sudden they're aging, costing more. I didn't know how to control that. I didn't understand budgeting, goal setting, all the things that I do now for the last 18 years for others. I apply to my own life, and it keeps my why strong. And I continually work on how am I going to do it? How am I going to get better? And the reason why in the last, not quite a year yet, I pivoted my company. I changed who I was associated with, even more so in regards to being focused on relationships and on the people. And unfortunately, there's companies out there, like they say, the saying, a wolf in sheep's clothing, that present themselves as being the best for the end consumer and for the people that they contract to go out and do finance, but they really aren't the best. They are just simply smoke and mirrors and doing what's best for the leadership. And I needed to realize that, pivot away from that once again, because that was the second time I had allowed myself to be really sucked into it, thinking that that company had the best values, everybody concerned, right, from agents to the consumer. But they really, in my opinion, this is my opinion, they didn't, they don't, and I don't think they can ever change that. And there will continue to be a company that is smoke and mirrors. So I changed what I wanted to do. I still in finance, but I wanted to get back to the relationship connection part of the business, and went back, and it was already running my own brokerage, right? It was still running, and went 100% back into that because I knew what my why was with that business. I knew how to do it effectively. I had been doing it effectively for almost 10 years. But, sometimes in life we question our prior decisions. So I had to go back and realize and figure that out, that it really wasn't my cup of tea to do finance the way this firm did. And that I needed to go back to doing it the way I did it. And though I may not be as successful as some that are in that firm, but that being said, I can sleep at night. I feel good about myself. I don't feel like I'm taking advantage of anybody, that I'm just, that I'm constantly just working on that relationship to build people up, and I'm helping them figure out their why through budgeting, through goal setting, through dream building, right? And doing actionable things with couples, with individuals, with businesses to level up, continue to climb, and not feel, that they don't have control or power of their own lives. So they need to develop their why. And I help them do that. It continually reaffirms my why of why I do what I do, and the how I just keep on working on it. How do I do it? Well, I keep on leveling up. I keep on hopefully continuing to get better at my craft, my trade, my passion for the best for others. I look forward to talking tomorrow. God bless you all. Peace out. Stay out of trouble. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.